Effects of Hurricane Lane being felt in Hawaii this morning. It is now a Category 3, but officials are warning residents that the storm is a significant rainmaker, moving slowly here. And Governor David Ige says some parts of the islands could get more than 30 inches, could get waves up to 20 feet high. The outer bands of the hurricane already causing flooding. There's now a voluntary evacuation order on Reed's Island near Hilo. The normally scenic Wailuku River turning into a raging torrent.
Everyone's watching the forecast models. We tell them not to get too concerned about that. Some of the biggest threats we see from this storm, obviously we're looking at tropical storm, maybe some slight hurricane force winds. We're also looking at potentially for a lot of flooding, potentially urban flooding.
Emergency sirens blaring in Honolulu yesterday. FEMA says it has pre-staged food, water, generators, and other necessities around the islands. Major airlines are waiving fees for travelers affected by the hurricane, including United, Delta, Alaska Airlines. CNN's Miguel Marquez live in Pahala on the southern part of the Big Island. It's 11 p.m. there. Miguel, what are you seeing?
Now, this is an area that it was bracing for the worst that Lane had to offer up, and so far it has missed it. Lane took that sort of sharp left turn moving westward, and now there is a tropical storm warning for all of the Big Island, and there is flooding in certain areas across the Big Island. There's been a slide at one of the major roads that goes across the island and some voluntary evacuations in Hilo. In this particular location, we had 6-7 hours of rain straight on, just dumping it down, and then crickets. Right now, the rain has stopped. The wind, there is almost none now, and we are waiting for that next sort of band if it comes from the hurricane. Many other islands of Hawaii remain under a hurricane warning right now, and the big question is Honolulu and Oahu, that island that has Honolulu County. Population 400,000. How close will Lane come to it, and how will people fare there? They have been very concerned about flooding in Honolulu. Much easier to deal with it on the Big Island where they are more accustomed to rain, especially in Hilo in those areas. But Honolulu really not looking forward to this, and people sort of battening down the hatches there. Back to you.
All right, Miguel Marquez, live for us in Pahala tonight. Thank you, Miguel.
All right, a new advisory just in from the National Weather Service. For the very latest on that, we're joined live by meteorologist Ivan Cabrera. He's in the CNN Weather Center. Ivan, what does this advisory tell us?
So basically, it's still a very powerful hurricane. The track has slightly shifted here. I'll show you that in a second. But still 120-mile-an-hour winds, right? Still a Category 3 storm. And look at the movement. It is walking towards the islands here north at 6 miles an hour. That is a huge problem here because of the amount of rain that we're talking about. Some areas across the Big Island have already picked up nearly 2 feet of rainfall. And Miguel, my friend, you're going to get a lot more rain coming in. I think I know there's 3 to 6 inches. So that lull you're experiencing now in the Big Island is not going to last. Here's the latest track. There is a bit of a shift here, right? So it moves because it's still moving to the north. It is going to continue getting very, very close. Now, by the time we get into Friday, 8 p.m. local, the hurricane force winds will begin to approach some of the islands. In fact, we could gust over 75 miles an hour easy, and then it makes that track over to the west.
Sorry guys, I just had to pause there. Can you see how they've got all the timings at 8 p.m.? 8 p.m., 8 p.m., 8 p.m. The LTN interpretation, London, Hawaii, Honolulu, Tokyo, Japan. Right now, Tokyo, Japan is having their own typhoon, while Hawaii, Honolulu, I actually heard they're particularly worried about Honolulu. But also you've got obviously the Big Island and the Kilauea volcano, where you've got loads of flooding currently taking place, and that's going to continue, looks like, over the next 3 to 4 days. And look, they've got the tracking up to Sunday, 8 p.m. And then obviously Monday is the 27th, big watch day. I'm going to play the rest of this.
All the while dumping incredible amounts of rain, and because of the topography in Hawaii, we're going to be looking at some very heavy rainfall. Here are the latest watches and warnings. No big changes. Tropical storm warning for the Big Island, the Middle Islands, including Oahu and Honolulu, at a hurricane warning, and then a watch for Kauai. which is going to continue to see the effects much later down the pike here. But there's the rainfall. We have one blob. There's the center of the storm. There's the eye right there. But look at all the rainfall that has already fallen across the islands. And again, as a result of the mountainous terrain, we're going to continue to see very heavy rain. Look at the winds. This is still not a factor yet. 20, 40 mile an hour wind gusts. I think tonight the wind begins to play a factor. The rain will continue to be an issue. And we're talking about torrential amounts of rain, the likes of which could put down, of course, mudslides, landslides. You saw the torrents of rivers there. And look at so far, upwards of 22 plus inches of rain, and still more to come, guys.
That's not good. So while we're looking out for these events that, you know, I thought were going to take place on the 21st in terms of the Fissure 8 eruption, and the 23rd in terms of a massive eruption, it appears it's still building to that process, and this hurricane, which is traveling incredibly slow, is dumping a huge amount of rain over Hawaii, the Big Island, and the volcano. And right here, where you can see this guy talking about the precipitation, the rainfall, the flooding, this is where the volcano is. And as shown yesterday, all the fissures that lead to the ocean entry points are probably being flooded right now. And as talked about, if that seawater comes into contact with magma, has the potential to flash into steam, and if it's not able to be released straight away, it's going to build up pressure, and that's probably what's happening right now. And maybe at some point during the next 3 to 5 days, we may see what we've been talking about. But I thought I'd just bring you this update from the weather people, because they've got all the maps and they've got all the information, and they kind of just make it easy to follow. While obviously not telling you about or interpreting the things that we are, the raw information there just goes to show you that we're looking at a very serious event. And obviously they're talking about the flooding like it's normal flooding, like there isn't a volcano there. So you guys will keep watch, and I'll update as necessary. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.